Welcome to another video, everybody. I hope everybody's celebrating their full moon responsibly. In whispers, we govern. Through the elements, we obscure. We are the remembered and the returned. We are the whispers. Welcome to this video I'm titling Shema of Being. I'll start off with Saturn sextile Uranus, with this being a period where individuals can start seeing the benefits from integrating responsibility, structure, and a cautious approach to change with the potential for transformative experiences and new perspectives. This could be a time of positive shifts in financial matters, relationships, or personal growth, particularly if one is willing to embrace change and learn from the challenging situations. We've got Saturn conjunct Neptune, covering and representing a humbling force where we must be held accountable to higher spiritual standards. We've got Neptune influences the scale and the scope of issues incorporated in what's being called the return. We've got Saturn sextile Pluto, which is harnessing willpower for ambitious success. With this aspect, this suggests a strong potential for achieving ambitious goals through persistent effort and disciplined work. This placement indicates a natural ability to manage responsibilities, overcome obstacles, and build a lasting legacy in one's career and public life. If you possess the ability to organize, control, and channel your willpower effectively into realizing your ambitions, this is one who essentially embodies the natural alchemist, whether it be chaos, creation, or devastation. With Mars opposition Saturn, this aspect is basically saying, I'd rather be on my own, or I don't trust you. I'm holding you at an arm's length, or there's some kind of block or delay or restriction around intimacy. This could manifest as another one being closely related to, I'm not going to be vulnerable, I'm not going to put up, I'm going to be in my fortress of solitude, and I'm going to put up my barriers and defenses. So with this aspect, we're going to see some people, and this is not going to be a pronoic state of mind, this is going to be where conflicting delusions of Neptune I'm getting tongue-tied. We see this aspect starting to manifest in people who have been playing around in energies they shouldn't have. This is going to be a paranoia state of mind. So people that are just going to be finicky, if you will. I'm not sure of the term I'm looking for. But the energies around it are self-destructive, intrinsically, almost like somebody is hyper escalating in a state of delusion where paranoia is the driver, pronoia is in the back seat, and we're driving 100 miles an hour fast-tracked into a brick wall with no braking system. We've got Mars trine Uranus with an aspect of revolutionizing how we work. This planetary alignment suggests a period where individuals may experience sudden breakthroughs, exciting opportunities, and a strong desire for independence and freedom. And again, independence and freedom have been a consistent theme with a lot of my videos, underlying the energy of Lilith. Now, I don't know how many people participate with that aspect of life and work with Divine Goddess herself. Lilith isn't one that generally works with everybody, though many claim they do. You need to contain a specific talent that intrigues Lilith and draws her to you. Lilith is one that's going to awaken somebody who contains a very specific skill set, a superior state of being, or a sublimated internal mechanism or a bridge, to put it simply. She'll help you amplify that shit for sure, but it's interesting when you do connect. I digress. With Mars opposition Neptune, we've got Neptune channeling its energies into your outer relationships. And this is often going to be a root where tension starts to manifest in your psyche. This is important for intellectual sparring, whereas we are able to further maintain grasp and control of our mental state on a superior level in comparison to others, especially in terms of spiritual warfare. Intellectual sparring refers to the process of engaging in lively, challenging, and thoughtful discussions or debates with another person, often someone with a different perspective, to refine one's own understanding and reasoning. It gives us a more 360 pivotal access to navigate this plane and or others intrinsic to our core identity as to perceive things from higher dimensions. It's a form of mental exercise that helps individuals grow intellectually by exposing them to new ideas and challenging their existing beliefs. This falls under tiered communication and can coexist with psychological warfare, or at least be a barrier intrinsic to which can help assist on a spiritual warfare level in terms of psychic attacks, telepathic amplification, and reverse engineering darker energies, alchemizing the chaos core to not only amplify ourselves, but return existing in such a natural way, even typical to the most skilled practitioner couldn't even be prepared for. And basically, it comes in terms of ride along. I have it written like ride alongside or side card to the ego. So it comes in a blindsiding manner, if you will. With Mars trine Pluto, this is indicative of people embodying strong leadership, intense focus on career goals, and transformative career path. Things to watch, though, if we are on the opposition to the golden alchemist of chaos. We have potential for career conflict. The intensity of Mars and Pluto can sometimes lead to power struggles or conflicts, especially in professional settings. We are hindered in our ability to overcome obstacles as we are cornered and checkmated, if you will, energetically. So if one intends to FA, they will in fact FO. This aspect can also suggest an ability to overcome challenges and setbacks using determination and strategic thinking to achieve their goals. This is especially imperative when attempting to attack one's solar plexus, root, crown, or third eye chakra. And depending on the individual's strength, this may result in a total ripple in the very fabric of reality, where barriers between tiers are sustained, could potentially be ripped away and stripped in the eye of the bear. With simple silence. Spirit says, watch how I mirror that for your defiance. We've got Moon squared Uranus relating to inheritances and legacies. This aspect can bring unexpected financial situations or changes related to these matters. The Divine 12 of the Egyptian pantheon, alongside Hecate in the form of destiny and fate, is declaring that the coronation of the heir of Ra is upon us. It is an inevitability that has been catalyzed due to sustained efforts to contain, constrict, and withhold. We've got Moon sextile Chiron with the gift of compassion coming through. As the gentle and compassionate moon aligns harmoniously with the wounded healer in Chiron, we possess a natural ability to emphasize with the discernment of the sublime. So though one may be empathetic, there may be scenarios and situations where a blind eye is turned as to sweep something under the rug. With this, there was a couple of things that came out and popped into my mind when I was doing this interpretation. And it was actually double confirmed with a couple of things that happened today while I was at work. Amalgamation under Deuteronomy 6:4. Medieval Latin amalgamate is the action or process or result of combining or uniting. This is an amalgamate or a checkmate. Power in numbers is only sustained in the physical, whereas dealing with the sublime, this is true primordial force. Interfering or attempting to halt such things would be like fighting a tidal wave or tsunami with karate as a singular individual. You cannot stop it. This Shema is and always was a unification of the physical and the metaphysical in terms of analogy. I'm going to use C++ as a reference for coding as far as my reference for this. This is a combining of library sources and a header file into one or a very large few source and header files. This is a technique used primarily to simplify distribution and integration of libraries, especially in scenarios where a complex build system or package management is not ideal or available. We can begin to connect our master source code through source file inlining with a subparagraph managing included files. The amalgamation process needs to be handled. Include statements carefully, usually a tool which will track headers which have already been included and skip subsequent inclusions of the same header to prevent duplicate definitions and potential errors. We've got handling preprocessor directives. Amalgamation tools should ideally be able to handle basic pre-processing directives like #include and #pragma. Once effectively, some tools may not fully interpret complex directives like if and scenarios or macros within include statements, which can lead to unexpected behaviors or anomalous events. Addressing language specific, whether it be in English, layered civilian context, or underlined civilian context, or dead languages of the gods. Luckily, through Tothenesis, one can theoretically decipher these things fluidly in real time. The advantages of an amalgamation. We've got simplified integration. Projects can integrate libraries more easily by simply including the amalgamated files without needing complex build configurations or relying on package managers. Apply this euphemism where needed. Faster builds, potentially. Compilers might be able to optimize the code more efficiently when the entire library is available in a single translation unit, especially when the link time optimization is utilized. Mind you, time is a nonlinear theory and concept. We've got reduced dependency issues and easier distribution. Distributing a library as a single self-contained unit becomes much simpler. Now lie that upon alternative meanings intrinsic to the cores of existence or special meanings or special projects, if you will. The disadvantages of this would be debugging challenges. Tracking down errors and isolating issues with a large combined source file can be more challenging. Luckily, we can launch the cloud of any workspace and collaborate in communities to find and eliminate bugs through bug bounties. Hopefully it's a good one and worth it, because that collapse would be catastrophic. We've got complexity with build systems. Amalgamations might interact poorly with sophisticated build systems designed for separate compilation and link time optimization. It would be like a natural-born human fighting a telepathic being connected to morphogenic code linked directly with source code unity. We've got CPP Amalgamate as a Rust-based tool that recursively combines C++ files and headers into a single output file, or what's also known under Python script as a combiner, designed to create single source files for easier integration. Again, this can be applied to real-life situations or scenarios depending on how we feel about fated events in doubting the sublime or delegations of the divine. Overall, amalgamations offer a trade-off between simplifying library distribution and management, potentially improving build times, potentially sacrificing some benefits of modular design and encountering debugging challenges. It's often most beneficial for mature and stable libraries where the ease of integration outweighs the potential downsides. Remember, we don't need any more liabilities than necessary, do we? I know from personal experience, liabilities can be problematic, and very rarely does a liability end up being an asset. That's underlined. But once it does, that gravity of its force can become exponentially explosive. We've got messages from Nix directly. The number was 71, translated to Psalms 7, verse 1. Trust in God, petition for salvation, contrast with the wickedness, call for justice, figurative language, call in the lions during this energetic portal to call it in, close the ring. That is a declaration. We've got Lilith 68, Matthew 6, verse 8. God's omniscience states, do not be like them, for your Father knows what you need before you even ask him. Do not follow the false, as it is a direct path to sabotage and exile. And that is direct from Lilith. We've got Saturn 19 coming through as Psalms 1, verse 9. Psalms 1 contrasts the righteous and wicked, highlighting the blessedness of those who delight in God's law and meditate on it day and night, with Psalms 9 focusing on praising God for his righteous judgment and seeking his protection from enemies. We've got a solar message of Ra 88. Again, more Psalms. It's a very biblical day, apparently. Psalms 8 verse 8 reads, "The birds of the heavens and the fish of the sea, whatever passing along the paths of the seas." This verse is part of a larger psalm that reflects on God's majesty in creation and humanity's place within it. This is the Shema of Life, and Shema is a central Jewish prayer that declares the oneness of God. And in the context of coding, Shema refers to a formal description of a structure of data. It defines the organization, relationships, and constraints of data elements within a system and a data set. Schemas ensure data consistency and facilitate data validation and enable clear communication about data structures. This can be applied to even real-life organizations, situations, groups of people, communities, societies, and things of a benevolent nature behind the scenes really running the forces. Yeah. I'll end this with praying for those who are willing to be the opposition of the divine. Maternal energies of the Duat, Neteru, and the Infernal Abyss are warning and cautioning. You are being led on a path of death and despair, led by ego and the bitter. The Ifrit says to be careful what we ask. We might summon something we certainly are not prepared for, and unleash, awaken, and opposed to our request due to pre-existing hierarchy and chain of command. Working with an Ifrit, I could see the definite benefits of it, as it is a fire-based being, resistant to heat, and it can enhance natural abilities depending on the context. One might be invoking wish-granting, but again, highlighting hierarchy of the sublime, we might end up with misfortune, deception, doubling up on that Asmodeus and Leviathan energy. That's all I have for you guys. Hope everybody uses this energy wisely.